Hello, good morning. Welcome back to the another online session from Anand Medical Academy. In this biology session, here I am ready with you to discuss another lesson basics, that is respiration in plants. We are not completing any chapter. Why? Because in the classroom program we are going to start with. If we complete a particular lesson in the online, you definitely will lose your interest. This we cannot put all our 100% efforts in the online. So once classroom begin, let we have a 3 months or 4 months of time. Don't worry, we will finish it in our own styles. So please don't compare our academics with any other institute. In some other institute syllabus is completing. Let it be, not an issue. If we have some time, according to that time, we will have a special timetable and we will start the program. Until that, in biology, you just have enough basics. Then in the later classes, my work will be very easy. Without basics, if you sit in that class, you cannot understand even a small sentence also. So, let me start the topic, that is respiration in plants. Generally, people think plants respiration is different and animals respiration is different. In animals, oxygen will be intake and carbon dioxide is outcome. Whereas in the respiration in plants, carbon dioxide is intake and oxygen is outcome. That is absolutely a wrong perception. Then what is the right one? In both plants and animals, not only plants and animals, any living organism, carefully, that is a prokaryote or eukaryote, even from the bacteria to the mammal, everywhere respiration is same. What is that? Respiring with oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide. So that is exchange of gases actually. That is not also perfect definition of the respiration. If you think intake of oxygen and outcome of carbon dioxide is respiration, that is exchange of gases. Then what is the true definition of the respiration? How does this respiration takes place in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes? And how many types of respiration? Let us have. Respiration means oxidation of food materials. Oxidation of food materials. So, change your opinion about the definition of respiration. Don't think that respiration means intake of oxygen and outcome of carbon dioxide. Respiration means what? Oxidation of food material. What is oxidation? Here oxidation telling you that it means breaking. Okay. Food materials. What type of food materials are going to be break? Then what is the yield? Let us see. Food materials like carbohydrates, proteins and fats. These three undergoing the process of oxidation and output is ATP. What is the ATP? Adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine tri means 3 in number. What is that? Phosphate. ATP is the energy form of organisms. Energy form. So many forms are there for energy. Electric energy, mechanical energy, hydrothermal energy, just like that, a chemical energy. What is the energy we are using? For suppose I am talking, so my jaws has to move, right? My hands has to communicate with actions. So who is giving energy? ATP. To drop eyelid also need energy, that is in the form of ATP. If you take a carbohydrate, if you consume all this in your food, then oxidation takes place. And don't think that digestion. Digestion means what? Macromolecules are becoming micromolecules. Enough. That micromolecules are absorbing into the blood. Blood carry them to the cells, nothing but a tissue and cells. Inside the cell, how they are converting into the ATP is respiration. Means suppose if a carbohydrate arrives at the tissue and it enters the cell. Inside the cell, how carbohydrate finally become ATP. It is a magic of respiration. Even protein or fat, whatever. That is why we are getting energy if we have food. Energy that is in which form? ATP form. ATP means what? Adenosine triphosphate. So that is what the definition of respiration. Define the respiration. Oxidation of food materials such as carbohydrates, proteins and fats result energy in the form of ATP is called respiration. Respiration is exothermal process. Exothermal process means what? In this process, heat will be liberated. Heat will be liberated. Liberated means what? Release. Released. Another form of that word is liberated. And this respiration also called energy releasing process. Energy releasing process. Why? Because here what is happening? Food materials are breaking up. That is why it is also called catabolic process. Catabolic process. Clear? Opposite to catabolic process, there is a word called anabolic process. What is anabolic process? In which energy is building. Photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, plants are preparing food. In respiration, plants are breaking food. So both are opposite processes. This is catabolic process. Respiration is catabolic process. Photosynthesis is anabolic process. Both catabolic and anabolic together is called metabolic process. Food has to be prepared and food has to be broken up. So respiration is oxidation process, respiration is exothermal process, and respiration is energy releasing process, and also respiration is catabolic process. This is a very fundamental thing one should understand. You might have a knowledge about the respiration. Please trash it and start from this. Okay? Let me tell you some more important things. Respiration is in two modes. Two modes means two kinds or two types in living organisms. There is no doubt it is a vital property of living organisms only. What are the two types? Already you have guessed. That is anaerobic and aerobic. Anaerobic respiration doesn't require oxygen. Organisms who are following anaerobic respiration do not need oxygen. So oxygen doesn't require. But whereas aerobic respiration, organisms those are following aerobic respiration should have oxygen. This is a major difference. So many differences are there, I will tell you. But this is the fundamental difference between anaerobic respiration and aerobic respiration. And in anaerobic respiration, generally it takes place in the prokaryotes. Yes, all prokaryotes, there is no doubt. Why? Because in all prokaryotes, mitochondria was absent. Mitochondria is absent. As mitochondria is not there, it cannot carry further steps. So generally in the respiration, 1, 2 and 3 steps will be there. All the 3 steps are involved in the aerobic respiration, whereas only first step only involved in the anaerobic respiration. So 3 minus 1, 2. 2 steps cannot be happen in anaerobic respiration because of lack of mitochondria. I repeat, in true respiration, 3 steps will be involved. In further sessions, you will come to know what are the 3 steps. First and second and third steps, all the 3 steps will happen in aerobic respiration. That's why it's complete respiration. It is incomplete respiration. In the anaerobic respiration, only first step only takes place and second and third steps cannot be done. Why? Reason: absence of mitochondria. If mitochondria is present, then all the 3 steps will happen. So that in the all eukaryotic cells, all eukaryotic cells do anaerobic respiration. Here some exceptions are there. Now itself I will tell you. Note it. Except RBC, except muscle cells, sometimes, not all the times, sometimes. These two, RBC always, okay. Inside the RBC, nucleus is not there, mitochondria is not there, so that If mitochondria is not there, just like it behave as anaerobes, nothing but prokaryotes. So only one step takes place there. So that is anaerobic. Anaerobic eukaryotic cells, RBC. Muscle cells, when we are doing exercise vigorously, then we cannot supply enough ATP. So all three steps cannot be done. Instead of that, anaerobic respiration takes place and products will be various. Clear? So that muscle cells not always, sometimes. Let us see some important 5 basic differences between anaerobe and aerobe, and let us complete the class today. Differences which just discussed are exceptional here, and energy will be released at once. Why? Steps involved in the anaerobic respiration is only one, so the energy will be released at a time, because step is one, single step. Whereas here energy will be released step by step, not at a time, slowly, gradually. Okay, so because of 3 steps. What are the 3 steps? Step 1 is glycolysis. Step 1 is glycolysis, and step 2 is Krebs cycle, and step 3 is electron transport chain. By all these 3 in aerobic respiration, 38 ATPs will be produced by a single glucose molecule. By one glucose molecule oxidation, 38 ATPs will be done when the glucose molecule across all the 3. These 2 required mitochondria. These 2 required mitochondria. Now guess what are the steps that are absent in anaerobic respiration? Krebs cycle and electron transport chain are absent. So, if a glucose molecule oxidized, only 4 ATPs were produced. So, least energy will be produced in anaerobic respiration. Much more energy is produced in aerobic respiration. So, least energy produced or yield. Okay, high energy is produced. The reason why high energy is produced is 3 steps. All the 3 steps result 38 ATP. Each ATP gives 38 ATP. 38 ATP is more than 4 ATP. So that compared to the aerobic respiration energy yield is more. Glucose molecule, that is a C6H12O6, which doesn't require oxygen, which oxidized, then 6CO2 plus 2C2H5OH, nothing but ethyl alcohol will be produced. So that ethyl alcohol or lactic acid or acetic acid were produced. These are the products. So, process involved in this anaerobic respiration by producing the ethyl alcohol, lactic acid and acetic acid is fermentation. Very important. Fermentation, this word will be used so many times in the first and second year POC. What is fermentation? Fermentation is an anaerobic respiration in which bacteria like organisms do not involve in the oxygen intake and respire and produce ethyl alcohol or lactic acid and acetic acid. So their applications also there. So the fermentation is very important in the biotechnology field. Whereas if a glucose molecule that involved in the aerobic respiration, then what required? Oxygen is required. That is what absent here. So that anaerobic. So glucose plus oxygen, here what is coming? 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus 38 ATP is coming. Whereas here plus 4 ATP is coming. Right? And here so many enzymes are required. That is, there is no doubt. But here carbon dioxide, water, carbon dioxide and ATPs are produced respectively. It occurs in algae, fungi, plants, animals. In fungi, some yeast is exceptional. Why? Because yeast is anaerobic respiration. So the product is somewhat a baker's product, like that. In bakery they are using. That's right, fermentation method. But whereas here all bacteria, some fungi and some animal cells, not animals, okay? Animal cells are doing this. These are the examples. So much of subject is there to discuss. Not here, okay? This is what enough basics to carry the concept, okay? Next, in the next video, I will start plant respiration with the first step, that is glycolysis. Thank you. I hope you understand. Attend the assignment on this.